my interview with Paul Stevens, teacher, yesterday, received an awful lot of views and an awful lot of comments. Mr. Stevens is the teacher unionist from Rangitoto College who went to the Post-Primary Teachers Union Association conference in Christchurch and claimed there was a wave of extremism amongst young boys in the manosphere, which sounds like a phrase he made up. I asked him for any evidence of his claims, which were carried widely in mainstream media yesterday, and he provided none whatsoever. And I read more and find that he's aligned with Kate Hanna and the Disinformation Project and all the other crazies. I noticed one group and one person taking particular interest in Mr. Stevens and his ravings, and that was Ro Edge from Save Women's Sport. And I was interested in Ro's interest in Paul Stevens, so she joins us on the line now. Ro, how are you?
Hey, good morning, Sean. I'm good, thanks.
Now, why would Save Women's Sports Australasia be interested in the ravings of an art teacher from Rangitoto College at a union conference in Christchurch?
Well, I guess I wasn't putting my thoughts forward as part of Save Women's Sport, but I guess it is part of the whole culture wars, isn't it? You know, I heard your interview with Paul Stevens yesterday, and I have to admit I almost choked when he said that the report was calling for research to be done, because when you read this paper, there's no research being called for. It's all just recommendations that they want, you know, the PPTA and the ministry there to just endorse their findings, which aren't based on anything but, as you found out yesterday, conversations with some of Paul's mates.
Well, even if I'm not sure he had those conversations, Ro. I think he might have made that up in his mum's basement.
Yeah, but what they're doing is they're calling for resources for teachers and a dedicated person in every school to essentially stop this right-wing extremism that's apparently happening.
But if there's any extremism or brainwashing in schools, it's the injection of groups like Inside Out into counselling sessions. There's nothing formalised about the rights access to school children, but it would seem that the extremes of gay culture are allowed in there willy-nilly.
Yeah, look, I'd say probably what some teachers may be experiencing is a backlash against this whole woke overreach, which was exacerbated under the last Labor government. And, you know, there's total focus on identity politics, which includes the punching down on masculinity. You know, poor old white boys and men, like they're told that they're privileged, they're colonisers, and they're ostracised and criticised for being who they are. And I find it quite ironic.
Come on, he had done some research. He'd seen a fiction called Adolescence. That's a bit like research, isn't it, Ro?
Yeah, look, it's interesting, isn't it? Like that Netflix show Adolescence was referenced because it was a deliberate portrayal of a white perpetrator being an inversion of the real world trends, because knife crime is disproportionately high amongst black youth in the UK. But it was interesting how quickly politicians grabbed onto that narrative to push it. You know, all of a sudden you had the UK Prime Minister talking about a Netflix show, Adolescence, which was fiction. So it's just...
It was actually based on a real story. Unfortunately, in the real story, the perpetrator was a black kid.